guys, this is Coach T, the Polepreneur, and I'm here today to talk about my short form video that I dropped on TikTok and I shared it on YouTube regarding if you hire a pole dance instructor to help grow your brand and they want to self-promote. Now, keep in mind, the short form videos is not an exasperated thought. And the thing about that is I need you to understand when you see short form videos, it might seem a little rash, a little mean, a little pointed, but there's a lot of great content, lots of years of experience behind that, and that's what I want to talk to you guys today about. So I am speaking today from a pole studio ownership place. That's where I'm speaking today from. But I'm also going to speak to the pole instructors who are watching this video because it's important for you to understand the thoughts of pole studio ownership. So if you don't operate in those dual worlds, if you're not a pole instructor and a pole studio owner, this is important for you to know when you are looking for a place to teach at. So you'll see in this clip.
Why can't we be ourselves, huh? Why can't I be me? Are you ashamed of us?
Very.
That in this clip it says, it references pole dance instructors who were hired to help promote your brand, but they're self-promoting. And the soundbite of the clip is really like, you don't like me? Like, you don't want me to shine, And so I want to speak to that because I know from personal experience, in an attempt to grow the brand and the brand name and to attract multiple people to the brand, I've pissed a lot of people off because they wanted to come in and they wanted to self-promote without any restraints. Like, do not get in my way. Like, if I don't want to tag your studio, I don't have to. If I only want to invite people to my class, then that's all I'm going to do, and it got to the point, some got it, some didn't. Some understood the power of the brand, the power of many. Some people just desired to be a part of a team, really had no ambition of ever acquiring a studio for themselves. So they were okay with being on the team. And as a pole studio owner, I had to have difficult conversations sometimes. I had to remove people from certain seats that maybe shouldn't have been in because I hired incorrectly or I didn't express. I thought I expressed it, but I guess I didn't clearly because we were still missing, the mark with one another. So this video is just to shed light on that. Like, from a pole studio's perspective, a pole studio owner's perspective, let me shed light on that. If you are a pole dance studio owner, your loyalty is to the studio first, because without that, you're not a pole studio owner. So your mission needs to be, and should be, the survival of your studio, with or without anybody that walks through those doors. If your success is tied to one individual and it's not you, you're in a very dangerous place. If your success is tied to one individual and it is you, you're in a dangerous place. And that's for a different video, but just know this. We're going to approach it from if your success is tied to an individual that works for you, you are in a dangerous place, because if ever it comes to a point where that one person decides, I want to do something different, or I want more, or I feel like the direction you're going isn't, unfair, or it's not my direction, or you're moving too slow, or you don't want to try something new, and they decide to leave, what happens? Those clients go too. Then your revenue drops, and now you have to rebuild other people, other services, try to implement different services. And so it is important as a pole studio owner that you create a team that plays like a team, that operates as a team, where there's no goal in I and there's a goal in we. There's a goal in the brand. There's a goal in brand identity. They use your studio name and they put it in their bio, and they don't try to, undercut you in their inboxes, where they wear your brand shirts, where they talk about all the other amenities that your studio offers, where they promote their teammates and say, hey, listen, I know you took a class with me today and I know you enjoyed yourself and I appreciate you being here, but I also want to talk about the other things that this studio has to offer you, the other people that are here on the schedule with me that you should go take classes with. That is a studio owner's role to build that type of environment. If you are a studio owner, you own a studio, but you're very hands off, you really just want it as a business, and you want to hire independents who, really essentially operate like stylists or barbers. They rent space from you and then they come in and they teach their classes, and they do all of their own branding, marketing. They have their own platforms to run their scheduling off of, and you're very hands off. They just run you your check every month. This is not applicable to you. I'm talking about studio owners who do all of the cleaning, who do all of the bill paying. I'm talking to studio owners who do all of the scheduling for classes, all of the customer service, all of the customer complaints. I'm talking to you if you are a studio owner who, if that instructor who is self-promoting says he or she has a client that doesn't like their experience and that client comes to you, that instructor shouldn't be self-promoting, because they're getting all of the benefits of a team and a pole studio, but they want all of the rewards for themselves. And so for the sake of your brand's longevity, you must define those lines. Defining those lines are so important, because that way you hire correctly, you guys are on the same page, and your brand doesn't experience any hiccups. I want to give you an example. So every time I travel, I love to visit other pole studios because I get to see how they operate. And so when I traveled, I would find a pole studio and go there. And when I went to this particular studio, it was in Florida, and I actually was with someone, so I took them, and it was their first experience ever pole dancing. And so when I went, I remember walking in, it was like a freestanding building, which is really cool to me, coming from a studio owner who always opened up studios either connected to a retail shopping center or inside of another business. But I thought it was super cool that, it was a freestanding building, and then it was like 2 stories. It was gorgeous. It was 2 stories. It had a huge retail area. It had the Lyra hoops, Lyra silks, like with the padding on the floor. Then it had its like pole rooms. It was just really pretty, really neat, really pretty. And so the person that we took the class with was a great instructor, very beautiful lady, very good instructing, really sensual lesson, just really nice overall experience. But at the end of the class, there was the promotions, and the promotions was all about her. There was nothing about a Lyra hoop class or the retail in the front or what was upstairs or come back to the studio. We have an event going on Saturday. There's packages offered. None of that. It was, I teach here on Monday and Wednesday and Thursday, and then I teach, down the street at the other pole studio on Tuesdays and Fridays. Come see me at that location. I'll be teaching next. The 2 locations were not affiliated with one another, so essentially you drove business away from that huge independent building, 2 stories. I mean, it had to be 10,000 square feet, to another pole studio, and you didn't express any information regarding the other things that studio offered. And so I, as a studio owner at the time, was very like, wow, like this is complete self-promotion. And that might be their agreement, so don't get me wrong, that might have been their agreement. Maybe that pole studio owner was operating as just like a pole studio rental facility. But for me, as a pole studio owner, I'm already in there like counting all the ladies' coins and the money, like, I know how expensive this is. I'm sure it's expensive, right? The air conditioning, the lighting, the rent, it's not cheap, the roof, HVAC, all of that. So it really, really stood out to me. A lot of times, in the pole industry, a lot of times we don't want to talk about our pain points. We don't want to talk about that because we feel like we're being mean to one another. No, this is business. And business, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your investment. Your time is an investment. Your capital is investment. Your reputation is an investment. Your mental health is an investment. And when, you don't have enough money to pay the rent because you're trying to be nice all the time, you're going to self-sabotage. So it's important for you to understand that if you are building a pole studio for a brand, if you called yourself, Pole Studio Beauties, and you aspire to make, I don't know, 40K a month, right? You're not going to make 40K a month if you have people teaching for you, promoting themselves and saying, come take classes with me down the street. Come take classes with me out of my home on Saturdays when the studio's closed. You would make that 40K if you had people working for you saying, hey, listen, my clients want to take classes on Saturdays. Could we make that happen? Could we open up the studio? It could stand to make me this and then you that. That's how you're going to make that 40K a month, but you're not going to make it with self-promoting instructors unless self-promoting instructors are paying that kind of money in rent every month and you are also teaching. So that's why I say that. So on the flip side, let me real quickly talk to my pole instructors who might be watching this video. A pole studio owner who does not want you to self-promote is not being mean. They're not being mean to you. They're not trying to stunt your growth. They're not hating on you. At least I hope they're not. What they're doing is trying to preserve their brand and trying to make sure that they can pay the bills. And what they're doing is making sure that not one single individual is holding all the power. So if that person decides that they don't want to be there no more, they don't walk away and take the rug out from underneath of them. So please pay respect to pole studio owners, and please only go and work for pole studio owners for whom you can abide by their rules. Be ethical, be respectful. Understand that if your vision is to one day own a pole studio of your own, karma is real and it could come back to you, okay? So make sure that you are being respectful and that you are really paired up with somebody who wants their business to run the way that you intend to teach. So if you are finding in your area that pole studio owners really just want you to come work for their brand and teach their classes and teach their style, and you would be an employee, then respect that. And then if that's not what you want, find a pole studio owner who will rent space so that you could be independent and just run your own brand. That's my take on that video that I put out short order, and I hope that helps somebody. I really hope that gives a pole studio owner courage to say, yeah, I want to hire people that want to promote this brand. I want to hire people that want to be team members. And I'm not trying to rob you of your individuality. I'm not trying to stunt your creative, capacity. I'm just telling you that here, I want to uplift Pole Babe Studio or whatever it's called. And that way we all win. And I want a team and I want us to work together and I want us to appreciate one another and help one another grow professionally. It's okay. It's okay. And if somebody doesn't understand that, oh well, they'll get their day if they work hard enough. But until they go and sign their name on a lease and pay light bills and deal with broken ACs or, inoperable heat and, all the things that pole studio owners might go through, they don't get a say in how you want to build your brand. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you love the take, if you think that you can learn a thing or two from me, make sure that you subscribe. Also make sure that you go to my website and join my mailing list or email list, and I look forward to the next video with you guys. Thank you.